Welcome to episode 6 of LSMN Overtime, our very last of the season. I'm Brendan Selke, that's Alex Salazar. Today we'll give you a preview on playoffs for softball and the end of baseball regular season, and a look around at some other parts around LISD athletics.
Yes, we will. So let's get started with your preview on playoff softball. The District 6-6A champs, Marcus, will play Prosper in the bi-district round. Hebron, who finished in second place in District 6-6A, will play McKinney. Then 4-seed Flower Mound Jaguars will take on the 5-6A champs, Denton Geyer. The Colony, who finished in the last playoff spot in District 9-5A, which marks their 14th straight playoff berth, will take on the winner of District 10-5A, Walnut Grove, who went 14-0 in district play. These are all best-of-3 series where they will play a home game and an away game, and if necessary, a Game 3 at a neutral site. All these series will take place Thursday through Saturday this week.
Yeah, all these very intriguing matchups. I mean, Marcus playing a good team, and then, of course, the Colony facing off against Walnut Grove, and that marks their 14th consecutive playoff berth. Very impressive, and hopefully they can get the upset against them.
Very impressive from the Colony, 14 straight. Now let's go over to the baseball diamond for this week's Spotlight.
This week's Spotlight is Trey Rangel, a sophomore baseball player from the Colony. Trey had quite a game last week in a 14-0 rout against R.L. Turner. Trey went 3 for 4 in the game, adding to his season total .349 batting average, which is third on the team. Rangel notched a triple and a home run in the game too, and finished with 4 RBIs for the game. He now leads the team in home runs with 4 on the year, and also leads in RBIs with 19. Rangel is now looking to help the Colony finish out their season strong with one final game against Reedy on Friday. For LSMN Overtime, I'm DJ Kirkshin. Now back to you guys at the desk.
Continuing on with baseball, let's recap the rest of the games for you from Tuesday night. Sam Distel drove in 2 runs to help the Jaguars as he helped clinch District 6-6A with the 3-2 win over Hebron. Marcus was shut out in a rough one against Plano West, 11-0. The Colony was held scoreless by Reading, 4-0, ending their playoff hopes on the season. Louisville grabbed a shutout of their own, taking down Plano 4-0. And now let's preview the rest of these games coming up on Friday. Flower Mound will try to stay undefeated in district play against Hebron at home. Marcus clinched a playoff spot already, but will try to end the season on a rebound win against Plano West. The Colony will try to finish the season on the high note as they'll finish up their set against Reading. And then finally, Louisville will try to bring out the brooms against Plano to end the year.
Hebron baseball entered a new era this season as former coach Steve Stone retired last season and new coach Corey Farah came in. I got a chance to talk to him as he goes through the season. Last season, longtime baseball coach Steve Stone retired after a long tenure with Hebron, with new coach Corey Farah coming in from Frisco High School to take over. Farah talks about what it was like being offered and hired for the job.
Myself and my family were really excited to be able to get back, for me to be able to get back and be part of LISD. And knowing all the rich traditions that Hebron High School has, we were super excited about it.
The Hawks had numerous playoff appearances in the 24 seasons under Stone, but pitcher Ethan Hunt and shortstop Austin Nicholson both say Farah has fit like a glove for the Hawks.
Oh, I think he's done amazing. Like, to be honest, I was not expecting this at all. He's a really great guy and a really great coach, so he's definitely someone that I look up to, not only in baseball, but as like a man of God as well. So.
Yes, sir, for sure. I think it's a pretty big thing taking Coach Stone's job, and I think he's done really well at it, being 10-1 in district, and yeah, I think he is a good role model.
I feel like he's really personable. He is always he has your back no matter what's going on, and I feel like another thing that is really big for him is he has a really good work ethic. He's always just making sure that we're on top of things and that we're doing things right.
With the success that Hebron experienced in the past, expectations were high for this season, and Farah says that the Hawks are doing a good job of handling those expectations.
If somebody would have told me we would have been 10-1 right now, I probably would have laughed at them. But these kids have really come together and gelled as a team, and they play for each other, which I think is what has led to some of our success this year.
Farah says the culture of the Hebron community and the student body is something that he loves.
The pride that Hebron students have, not just the baseball program, but all Hebron students, is something that I'm excited to be a part of. It's that kind of that one high school town feeling, but we reach out to multiple cities. And so we break it out to family every single day after practice and after games, and I really feel that way with not just in our baseball program, but with our staff and our students.
For LSMN Overtime, I'm Alex Salazar.
Now let's move over to the soccer pitch. All district honors for District 66A were announced this past week for women's soccer as well as men's. Let's start off with the women's side. Hebron had 8 players announced as first-team All-District as follows: Lily Weiss, Leah Simpson, Destiny Apodaca, sisters Ansley and JC Beer, Molly Lundy, Jordan Hill, and Layla Thompson. Flower Mound also got a ton of players to get awarded with first-team All-District honors with 7. Those players were Haley Peak, Allie Pinto, Audrey Varney, Kerrigan Geekus, Jalen Chaney, Madison Bolotos, and Lucy Stenning. They also had District 66A Defensive Player of the Year, Soria Kotek, and District MVP, Bella Larson.
Now let's go over to the Marauders with 6 All-District first-team players in Riley Albin, Savannah Wiley, Allie Williams, Maddie Patterson, Bree Russell, and Maddie Hayes. Continuing now with the Colony, they had 3 first-team All-District players in Galen Knight, Julian Powell, and Claire Allen. The Colony's Natalie Hernandez also won Midfielder of the Year. Then closing out with Louisville, they had 2 All-District players in Caitlin Campos and Brianna Sibon-Heng. The Farmers also had Freshman of the Year Melissa Ramirez.
Now let's go over the men's side for those awards as well. Hebron had 2 All-District players in Aiden Veach and Brian Avila, but they also had Goalkeeper of the Year Evan Mayhaw and Co-Defensive Player of the Year Mike Von Stein, and then finally Co-Midfielder of the Year Brad Zamora. Moving on to the Marauders, they had Aiden Henley and Owen Gall were first-team All-District players. Marcus also had Offensive Player of the Year Cale Glover and Underclassman of the Year Chase Fick.
The Jaguars have 4 first-team All-District players in Colby DeLue, Landon DeLue, Carter Simpson, and Miguel Arenas. Flymount also had Co-Defensive Player of the Year Dylan Traver and Newcomer of the Year in Oliver Morajo. Louisville's Jesus Barrios was awarded First-Team All-District, and Sebastian Corradona was awarded Utility Player of the Year. Then finishing things up with 5A, the Colony had 3 first-team district players in Blake Galvez, Juan Gudillas, and Rodolfo Reyes.
All-District Coach of the Year came from Flower Mound's women's soccer, as Coach Zappos took home the award. Zappos Jaguars finished with an 11-1-2 record in district play this season, which was good enough to make them District 66A champions for the first time in 3 years. The Jags' stellar season ended up falling short as they ended up losing in the second round of the playoffs to Lake Highlands 4-2. As well-deserved honors for Zappos nonetheless.
The Flower Mound and Hebron women's golf team had a standout performance at the Region 1 tournament. Flower Mound's team finished 3rd, shooting .619 for the tournament. Hebron's Staley Fields won the tournament, shooting .139, 5 under for the tournament. Both the Flower Mound team and Fields will be moving on to the state tournament at the White Wing Golf Club on May 6th and 7th.
Yeah, way to keep up on golf. Hebron and Flower Mound, both amazing, both good golf programs, both they should be very proud.
Yeah, absolutely.
Many people have the idea you can't take part in a sport as well as take a Career Center class here in LISD. DJ Criction had the chance to talk to someone who has managed to do both, even with it being their senior year.
I'm here at Tech East, where students from all over LISD take classes to learn useful skills for their future. One of those students is Chase Glover, who is also a star track athlete for the Colony High School. Here's his story.
I chose to take the Career Center class because I wanted to see if that's what I wanted to do in my future when I go to college, because I want to have a basic knowledge of what might pique my interest. So that's why I wanted to take the Career Center classes. My favorite part about getting to go to the Career Center is, I have to say, is the class. Like, the actual class is very enjoyable. It's very engaging. Why I chose to run track is because in middle school, you know what I mean, sports, and I really wanted to see if I'm good, and then track is something I fell in love with and I was already pretty good at. So when I got to high school, it just, it clicked. So ever since then, I've enjoyed track.
Being in both track and a Career Center course came with some difficulties, but Chase was willing to overcome them.
One thing I did realize and I had to learn was that I have to check the schedule before I even get it started. So I looked at it like a month in advance, and I got with my coach over there, and he helped me a lot to grow and help me get to even have the situation to handle this. So, like, for example, I don't have the track period, so I have to come after school. So you know how I have the Career Center first and second period? Well, I have to do my actual, core classes third and fourth. So I had to go with my track coach in order to, to go after school in order to get the work in that I need for track.
Chase believes that both track and the Career Center have helped him understand what he wants to do in his future.
I think the Career Center has helped me really engage and really want to continue to pursue the career path that I want to. I really enjoy the classes, I really enjoy the courses, and I plan to run track in college as well. So I think the Career Center helped me manage time better, like being able to do multiple things at once. You don't have to limit yourself to just one thing. You could do multiple things, and you know what I mean? I think the Career Center and track allowed me to, finally realize that.
If you're interested in taking a class here at Tech East, make sure to visit the Tech East website for more information. For LSMN Overtime, I'm DJ Kirkshin.
Speaking of good years, now let's look into what each school did well this year, starting it off with the Flower Mound Jaguars. The FMHS men's soccer team had a stellar season, going all the way to the state for the first time since 2019. After an intense game, they ultimately fell to Katy 7 Lakes 2-1. That ended their season with a record of 23-3-2, ranking second in the state of Texas. Next year, they'll aim for the state championship title for the first time in 7 years, with players like Oko Canaran, Oliver Morojo, and junior Andrew Ritzer returning.
Flower Mound women's volleyball had an amazing season, getting first in district, finishing 12-2 with an overall record of 34-8 for the entire season. They ranked 9th in Texas and made it all the way to the 5th round of playoffs until unfortunately getting knocked out by Prosper with a final score of 3-0, which is an overall improvement from last year of being 2nd in district and ranked 36th in Texas. Looking forward to seeing how Liz Goodspeed, Audrey Jackson, and Brianna Watson as they head the Lady Jags playoff run for the next season.
Now let's move over to the other side of Flower Mound and show you what the Marcus Marauders did best this year. The Marauders men's basketball team had an amazing season, improving 13 wins from last season. This year they finished with a 24-8 overall record and 9-5 in district play. That was good enough to clinch the 3rd spot in district and a playoff spot for the first time in Coach Wright's career at Marcus. The Marauders ended up falling in the first round to McKinney 64-56, but an impressive improvement from last year nonetheless. Next year, Marcus will look to improve upon this season with the returning of first-team all-district players Jaden Romnanen and Luke Sesko.
Now let's kick it over to the Lady Marauders soccer team, who yet again had another quality season after winning state last season. They finished the season with a 17-7-4 record and a 7-4-3 in district to just sneak into the playoffs as the 4th seed. In that playoff run, they made it all the way to the regional final, further than any other LISD women's soccer program, before falling to Prosper in PKs. The Marcus women's soccer program will look to continue its statewide dominance with star players like Maddie Patterson and Piper Garcia only in their junior year next season.
Now let's jump over to the other side of LISD and talk about Hebron. The Hawks soccer team had a great season. They finished the season 15-4-4 overall and 9-2-3 in district. Good enough for the 2nd place spot. In the playoffs, they opened with a 1-0 win against Boyd, followed with a 2-1 win versus Highland Park. In the 3rd round of the playoffs, they faced off against Prosper. Hebron tried keeping it close, but the Eagles won the Battle of the Birds 2-0, ending an impressive season for the Hawks. Hebron will look to get even further next season with Hayden Williamson and Brad Zamora returning.
Now for some girls basketball from Hebron. The Lady Hawks had a fantastic season, going 14-0 in district and 34-3 overall, led by district MVP Paris Bradley and co-offensive players of the year in Jordan Thomas and Micah Cooper. Unfortunately for the Hawks, one of those 3 losses were to Boswell in the playoffs, ending their season in the 4th round. Bradley, Thomas, and Cooper and numerous other seniors will all be graduating after this year, with the only 2 returning juniors being Sydney Jones and Monet Brown.
Now let's go over to Louisville for what they were dominant in this year. The Fighting Farmers football team had an impressive season, making it to the playoffs going 8-3. Their momentum was led by Byron Ellison, who averaged 97 yards per game in the 2023 season. Their playoff run, however, would come to a brief conclusion after they lost a nail-biting game to Allen 18-17. The Farmers will look to make it to return to the playoffs next season. Next year, look out for them again, as they'll be led by 5-star Michael Fafasi and D'Angelo King.
Now the Louisville girls basketball had a bit of a rough season, getting 6th in district with an overall record of 10-19. Look forward to next year, as most of the team was very young this year, with only 4 seniors on the team. They are looking to make it to playoffs next year with a more experienced team, as they look forward to it, as they will be led by Armea Amos Horsley and Micaiah Williams.
Now let's finally finish some things up with 5A in the Colony High School. The Colony boys basketball team, its best season in over a decade this past year. They only ended up losing 6 games while tallying 31 wins and going 12-2 in district play, which was good enough for second in the district standings. They ended up going on a deep playoff run and making it all the way to the regional final for the first time since 2010. They will look to go to the state championship next season as they return 4 of their 5 starters and Bryce Dixon, Dakari Spear, Xavier Green, and Thor Grissom. If you'd like to know more about the Colony basketball program, make sure to check out episodes 2 and 4 where we looked into their program.
Now let's see what the women had in store for us. The Colony volleyball team had an improvement from last year, finishing the season 8-6 in district play and clinching a playoff spot unlike last year. Came into the playoffs as the underdog. The Lady Cougars unfortunately fell in the first round. Improve next year with returning players like Armaya Jones and Shanae Burntage.
From Marcus High School, and a junior baseball player at Baylor, Jordan has dominated for the Bears this season with an OPS of 1,046 as he leads the team in that category. This includes a 30-game on-base streak. He also leads the team in home runs with 7 and a slugging percentage of .597. He's also tops in stats like batting average, where he ranks second with an average of .328, and he's also second in RBIs with 27. Baylor is currently in a dogfight of the Big 12 baseball with a record of 9-9. Jordan will try to finish the season strong, as well as his team, as they're only 5 games back of Oklahoma, who leads the Big 12 Conference right now with just a little less than a month ago.
Some of you may know who I am, but for those that don't, I'm Patrick Beals, the AV instructor here at Tech East. I'd like to take a moment to thank our seniors in this program, and this group of seniors is the sophomore class I met my first year here in LSD. It feels most fitting for them to be the senior class going out, with it being my first year in the instructor role. We cannot do what we do here at LSMN without great students like these. Their dedication, creativity, tireless effort goes beyond anything I could imagine. So thank you to Brendan Selke, who's on his way to OSU, Alex Salazar, who's on his way to UNT, our 2 anchors this season that you've got to see week in, week out. But there are those that you don't get to see in the control room, the seniors, that are Chance Disney, who's going to UNT, Ramaya Lockett, who's on her way to Texas. So help me wish all these seniors good luck at those colleges and everything like that. And thank you again. Back over to you, Selke.
That's all for this week's episode and our season. I hope you enjoyed all that we did this season.
Brendan, it was a great season.
Thank you very much.
Great working with you.
I appreciate your time. I'm Brendan Selke. That's Alex Salazar right there. That's Chance Disney, and that's Ramaya Lockett. Thank you for tuning in to LSMN Overtime all season long.